You are the richest of this whole world. Realize who you are. Realize that you are the God. Realize you are abundant. Realize that all these things exist because you exist. Your desire, money doesn't exist without you being existing. You make them come into the 3D world. They didn't come into the 3D world if you don't exist. So everything that you want, your desires, material things, whatever, money, job, career, business, whatever, they all exist because of you. If you were never there, they would never ever existed. And you are already the richest of the world. So you're already who you want to be or who you want to become or whatever it is. That's the most important thing. Hey guys, welcome. I'm Parshvik. On this channel, we talk a lot about manifesting, attracting abundance by doing what we love. If you enjoyed it, give it thumbs up. Consider subscribing for more such videos. We also have a short mini course talking about manifesting, attracting abundance. The link is in description. We also have a finance planner. All the links are in description. Anyways, let's talk about this thing too, about realize who you are. Because this realization is really, really important. You got to realize your desire doesn't exist without you. And you are richer of the world or richest of the world, like whatever verb you want to use in English, whatever, it doesn't really matter. And if you are abundant and if you're already wealthy and richest, then why the heck you need to figure things out? Why the heck you need to go out and try to get a job, try to make money or see how I'm going to get the money? You got to realize that. Because time on time when you came across this new concept, in the beginning, your ego will going to say you, hey, this is not real. This new version of you, this new realization, it's not real. It's not real. Go back to the old version. Go back to the old reality where you were struggling for money, where you were looking for finding a job, where you were trying to find the next paycheck for your rent. Because the old reality is very loyal to you. And ego wants you to be protected and safe, because that's the job of the ego. And since the old reality, you already know you were living in that, so it's very familiar, it's very certain, it's very predictable, it's very safe and secure according to the ego. That's why it's want to push you back and pull you back into that old version. And ego will always going to be there. Regardless of how many years you are in this area of manifestation, realizing who you are, the ego will always going to be there because that's its job. It's doing its job perfectly. You do your job. You don't need to fight with your ego. Okay, one time I'm having this thought, oh, and the another time I'm having this thought, oh. One time you are having that thought, and another time you have a second thought, and then you are like, oh, I want to be in the new reality, but this old ego thought is coming again and again. It's trying to take hold on me. Guys, nothing can take a hold on you unless you allow it to be. And you can be aware of it and you can change the direction anytime you want. You can choose, you can decide, you can opt for the things that you are. You can decide that you are rich right now. You can decide and choose that I am abundant right now. I don't need to figure things out. And you live your life based on that, because that's what the manifestation is. That was the spirituality is. That's all about living from the end of realizing you are already abundant, realizing you already have the riches of the world, realizing you have everything that you ever wanted, and you don't need to go out to figure things out, and taking an action from that. Because ego will always going to be there, as I already mentioned, and it's gonna take you back, and sometimes it's gonna come in a way that you couldn't even realize. I can tell you examples. For example, you are saying that I'm abundant, I have so much money, I have a good job or a career, business, whatever, I love my work and all that stuff. But all of a sudden you go to the supermarket to buy some groceries and you wanted to buy a loaf of the bread, for example. And there's a different prices for the different breads. Some breads are more expensive than the others because they are more good quality or they have more materials, some nuts or whatever, okay? So some breads are very cheap and some breads at the high price. And all of a sudden you go and pick up the cheap one because you think that this much amount of money you have, you can't afford the bigger one. That's the first mindset your goes. That I want to buy a cheap one. Look for the cheap bread. Not look for the expensive one or the thing that I exactly want. Because I don't have money. You see how you're taking an action in the lack. This is what happens with a lot of the people. They say that they are abundant, but then they go out and take an action from the state of the lack. Now, I'm not telling you to go and buy the expensive Gucci bags or expensive real big brand clothes or stuffs. No, I'm not telling you to do that. But I'm just reminding you to be aware of your thoughts whenever the thoughts like coming like that. You don't have to go out and buy expensive things only to make sure that you're making right decision or you are in this new reality. No, you don't need to do anything. You don't need any action. Action is totally unnecessary unless you choose, unless you decide. So you don't have to do that. You don't have to go to the grocery store and buy all the expensive stuff. No. But you don't have to sacrifice for yourself for money. That I'm gonna buy the cheap because it's cheap. You can start buying the things that you afford, the things that you exactly want and that you can afford. For example, a loaf of a bread which is cheap is $2, and the bread that you really like or that you really want is at $5. And you can afford a $5, then definitely go and buy the $5 bread. Even there could be a $10 bread as well. But you don't want that bread because you don't need it, so don't buy $10 bread, but you can buy the $5 bread if you can afford it, instead of going for $2 bread because it's more cheap. You see how you need to do the things, or how you can decide and choose. I'm not giving you how to do that. I'm just telling you some examples that you can relate to and you can decide by yourself, because at the end of the day, the decisions it's gonna made by you. Nobody can decide for you. You are the only one that's gonna choose and decide for you. I gave for the bread. Now, I'm not telling you to go buy very, very expensive leggings or bags if you can't really afford it. No, don't buy the things that you can't afford based on your current situation, but you can think from your mind. You don't have to take any action. You can think from the mind. Yes, I can afford anything. I can afford anything. You can think from the mind. You can imagine in your mind without taking a physical action. Because it's all about your intentions, your energy. Where is your energy? That where everything flows. Where the energy goes, there everything happens. So you gotta choose. What are you gonna choose? Are you gonna choose abundant or are you gonna choose lack? Which version of you gonna choose? Because you have multiple different versions and you can have anything because you are the God. Seriously. You are the God creator of your reality, so you can be anything or anybody. And you can buy the things if you want to, if you have money based on your current reality, current situation. If you have the money, go and buy it. If you don't have it, you don't need to go and buy it. The action is totally unnecessary. It's not important. But you can think here that I can afford Gucci bag. And I don't have to go out and buy a Gucci bag unless I really want it, unless I really can afford based on my current situation, current reality. But I know I can have it here. And I'm living it from the end that I already have the Gucci bag if I want the Gucci bag, whatever it is, okay? I just take a random example. I don't want a Gucci bag. I'm not a huge fan of the bag, but that was just an example that was coming in my mind. Because some of the people really love the bags, purses, handbags. So for them, this example can be relevant. But anyways, you can put anything here instead of the bags. You gotta realize who you are, and that's where it all begins. So let me know if this content resonates with you and you find it peace with that. If you have any questions, do let me know. I'll see you the next time. Bye-bye.